Hello everyone, I have created this video for relatability purposes, for those of us who feel like we are alone in our heartbreak. This video is a reminder that there are people all over the world who have experienced similar struggles, and it helps us not feel so alone. So please use these stories to learn a new positive perspective. Don't allow the devil to install fear into your heart. There are plenty of fish in the sea and plenty of good matches. The future is bright for all of us, but we have to put God first. Without realizing it or not, a lot of us make relationships our idol, and that's a trap. But I hope these stories help you heal in some kind of way. And a big thank you to all of you who shared your stories. Story number 1. I have gone through heartbreak before. Long story short, I was in a long distance relationship with a girl who shared the same values as me and liked some of the things I like, specifically nerdy stuff like Marvel and Star Wars. Anyway, she started to become distant and told me she needed a break from dating. The worst part is I was supposed to go to Indiana so we can have our date. I was absolutely devastated to hear that, and the worst part is that we broke up before my birthday. As a result, I went through 7 months of heartbreak and depression, that is, until I finally saw her in person. Although we didn't talk, at least I was able to get closure from that small encounter. Story number 2. Had the experience of giving my all to somebody while I wasn't feeling well in my own life, turning me into somebody who emotionally depended on another person. Silly young guy mistake. While it did give me some trust issues and other things, I learned a lot and became a better person, which I think is a great outcome. Story number 3. When I was around 15, I was in an extremely toxic relationship that traumatized me throughout my entire teen years. I got out of it after I made her speak up about what's going on, since I'm a no games and straight honesty kind of guy, and she told me she was cheating on me. I broke up with her immediately and never backed down. I struggle with making friends and love a lot, but I've been better than ever, and I feel like I finally put my past behind. Story number 4. Yes, me and my girlfriend broke up like 5 months ago. We were together for about 3 months, and it was a long distance relationship. We only saw each other in person 1 time. We were both extremely shy and awkward when we did, but we would text each other every day, and we never argued at all. So we never really talked on the phone that much. Neither of us had any friends either, so we never really had to worry about cheating or anything like that. I was the only person she talked to every day, and she was the only person I talked to every day. So our relationship felt more special because of that. We finally broke up because of our anxiety and miscommunication, and I can't stop thinking about her. Our breakup has absolutely broken me, and I don't think I'll ever recover. Story number 5. If long distance relationships count, this happened to me recently. Me and this girl, we'll call her S, met online and things were going well. We were together for 8 months. I noticed S was growing disinterested in talking to me. Mind you, we were already in a little bit of hot water, and we were gonna talk things out and resolve some issues. As we talked, S had something she wanted to say. She prefaced it with feeling scared and terrible for thinking it, and assuring me not being the case for breaking up. She didn't have the mental strength to keep doing long-distance relationships since her dating life has been all long distance. Thankfully, it didn't end in bad blood. As for now, I'm just doing what I can to find peace of mind and picking myself up on my feet. Story number 6. 2 years ago, I began a new career path, one I had dreamed of as a child for my entire life, but never knew how to get there. The only problem is that I also had a 5-year relationship at the same time. The problem lies in that this path I chose requires just about all of my time, especially on weekends. At first, my girlfriend was very supportive and happy I was chasing my dreams. Over time, she would get less excited for me and more frustrated with the little time we could spend together. While I understood this was fair, it hurt to see the writing on the wall that I would have to choose one or the other. Eventually, we mutually decided that the relationship wouldn't work anymore. It's not what either of us really wanted in our hearts, but we knew it couldn't continue the way it was. I'm glad it didn't end on bad terms necessarily, but honestly, I'm not sure which would have hurt more. I loved this girl more than anybody I ever had before. We had a life together, but because I chose to follow my dreams and found my purpose in life, the cost was the best relationship I ever had. We are currently broken up, but still live together, which is a daily mental and emotional nightmare. I don't know what the right answer is, but I'm following my heart, the same heart that's broken what I've lost. Obviously, I left out a lot of detail, but I hope my story helps someone and shows someone out there that following your heart can change your life, but can come at a cost. And that's okay. Story number 7. So I met this girl on Tinder. I was looking for a partner, someone to show compassion and love. We hit it off instantly. We went on a few dates. Things were good, but at some point she lost feelings. I felt lost and hopeless within myself. I kept chasing her and wanting her to stay in my life because she was the first person to ever reciprocate the same feelings. Being cared about, receiving compliments, being told, "I love you," it was something any guy would dream of. It went so well for a short period of time. I held on to her and she would continue to talk to me, building up my hope that she'd have a change of heart, but then would let me down again. I let this go on for over a year, stuck in a situationship loop with her, all because I was afraid of letting her go. Afraid I would never find someone who would reciprocate love. I was blinded by the love I had for her. I'd fight myself on the idea that she was the one. I fell into a state of depression, though I'd already had it to begin with. It became much worse. I would overeat, isolate myself, and would do whatever she asked of me except letting her go. It was until I started to attend church again that I opened my eyes once again. I needed the reality check. Now, I do miss her. It took courage to cut contact, but it was one-sided love. She showed the bare minimum, and I thought it was enough for me because I'd never felt love on an emotional level in my life. God managed to help me find my peace of mind, and I've been using the Word of God more and more each day to guide me in my romantic life. This happened about a year and a bit ago. I think about her, I cry over the loss of her, but I do smile in hopes God has a partner planned out along my journey. I go out, meet new people, and every day I do my best to keep my head up. Story number 8. 1 year ago, my girlfriend of a year and a half broke up with me on my birthday. She was very cold, very bitter, and stated how she doesn't want to be with me anymore, how she envisioned a future and family, but it all went away in her mind. For the first year, I've been through the toughest time of my life. I was left in such a cold, rock-bottom place, constantly blaming myself for everything that went wrong. But as time passed, I realized that yes, while the majority of issues we experienced was my fault, mainly insecurity that pushed my ex away, I have matured and realized that it takes two to be in a relationship. It's neither one side's total fault. There are contributing factors on both ends, and I've learned that the hard way. Even though the year has passed, my ex is playing social media games. She uses a fake account to stalk and keep tabs on me. For what purpose? I have no clue. But what I do know is that I won't let the heartbreak control my life anymore. I have grown, worked on myself, and am in a much better place. The wisdom I can give to anyone in a similar situation or in a relationship in general is to always love yourself first before you give that love to someone else. You need to be secure with yourself, but need to find your passions, your loves, desires, work on them, make friends, and if you have none, learn to be happy alone. That is a superpower in itself. I know how hard and helpless it can feel after a breakup. I contemplated many things, but if you just slowly get back up, you slowly get back into your interests. Watch your favorite movie, take a walk. You will slowly but surely get back on your feet. I can't promise this anxiety won't ever go away, but I can't promise you will get through it and come out a stronger man/woman. Story number 9. After just 2 months, I was ghosted. That left me hurt and upset. I was wondering what I did wrong. Sometimes I would listen to the Davy Jones theme song at full volume at 2 in the morning before I was so hurt by this. She went from saying, "Oh, you're so perfect and I want to be with you forever," to blatantly ignoring my existence. She left me on read on my good morning texts for a week before not opening them at all. Story number 10. I have gotten heartbroken before, but it was something that saved my life. My best friend, however, is still going through it. She's a very hard worker. She works with cattle and other kinds of livestock. She's incredibly strong and has beautiful faith. She'd been with a guy for 3 years and came to find out the other day that he wanted to break up with her on terms that she wasn't good enough. He wanted her to stay at home with half a dozen kids and work the house instead of her lifelong career that she already had. It broke her. I met her through a music artist's live stream and we hit it off by geeking out over it. And she's been my friend for months, telling me amazing stories of her life. She's got more tests from God thrown her way, so she needs prayers. She's following the truth amazingly, but she needs blessings. Story number 11. I was in love with a girl for about 7 years. She had loved me back for a while, but due to circumstances of life, we were never able to work it out. We longed for each other, but realized we had to go our separate ways. She eventually got with this guy. I went through my nice guy phase with her at that point. We had hung out one last time a few years back. It was nice. She moved a couple states over, and I haven't really spoken to her in 5 to 6 years. Story number 12. There's a point in life when you just feel defeated in yourself because you expected better from yourself. The first time someone wrongs you is on them, and the second time it happens is more of disappointment in yourself. I only felt truly heartbroken when a girl lied about someone else and then left me for them shortly after. Anytime after the first time, you shouldn't be heartbroken. Sadly, people don't truly change. They just modify themselves over time. Story number 13. Well, I met a super nice girl in a dating app named Kelly. We got to meet in person on my birthday. It went super well. She's just as sweet in person as she was when we were talking online. She even made me a card and got me a present. We really liked each other, so much in common. But then one day she blocked me. I went into work trying not to cry all day, and I felt my absolute lowest. Then I found out her dad was keeping us apart and still is. It's heartbreaking, but we still have each other on social media, so we're in each other's orbit. Story number 14. I recently went through heartbreak a few months ago. It was the most humbling experience of my life. When your people tell you about the horrible things adults face, and you think they're over-exaggerating, but when I experienced heartbreak, I couldn't eat, sleep, or be happy. And it was as if I was diagnosed with a disease, even though nothing was wrong with my body. My heart was in literal pain. It's an experience that can't be described unless you've gone through it yourself. Story number 15. My first and only heartbreak was at 19. I met a guy online. We talked daily and video called on MSN. I know, I'm dusty. He was so amazing, brilliant, strong, and funny, and beautiful. But the more he focused on his last studies for high school, the more he pulled away. I was dealing with an abusive, dismissive mother whose boyfriend I believed was worth jail time. And my depression deepened one day where I almost did the irreversible. Something told me to call my boyfriend one more time. I didn't tell him what I was about to do and tell him I love him. He calmed me down and I decided not to do it. A week or so later, he broke up with me without explanation. It took me over a year to not cry hearing his name or seeing his picture. It broke my heart because I almost reconsidered the idea of marriage, as I never in my life wanted to. As much as the breakup hurt me, I'm grateful to have dated him from afar. He doesn't know it and I won't tell him, but he saved my life that day. He reminded me that there are people who care about me despite my being. Story number 16. My story in a nutshell. There was this Mexican girl and I wanted to be with her. I learned Spanish so I could talk to her family. She lied to me for 9 months straight and blames me for her lying, and she ended things between us. I still feel sad 4 years later. Story number 17. Aw man, I'm going through something currently. Seems like my girlfriend takes me for granted sometimes. I help her all the time. I go out of my way to help her, and in return, she says mean things to me. I don't know what to do. Whenever she's stressed, she takes things out on people, and usually that's me. I love her, and I have to set some boundaries with her if I want this to work. I don't know. Writing it out now makes me realize how toxic the relationship is at times. Story number 18. I'm not sure if this counts exactly because I've never been in a relationship before, but during my first semester of high school, I gained the biggest crush on this girl I knew growing up. I didn't make a move because she had a boyfriend, and I didn't want to ruin anything for her or cause problems, so I just held it in. I told a few people to get it off my chest, but as it got closer to graduation, I was slowly dying inside. I took long drives frequently, cried a little in my bed during a few days, and all that stuff that we enjoyed during our last year wasn't as fun for me, and it was just one of the hardest things I went through mentally. I have respect for relationships, and I put my feelings aside to prevent issues, but that meant I had to spend the rest of my remaining months of high school suffering from heartbreak, if we'll call it that, because she just never left my mind. I grew up and graduated in California and then moved to Florida 10 days later. About a month into being in Florida, I got this feeling. I just want to say that none of this is her fault at all, and I actually felt like this was all part of my personal development in myself now that it's over. And I will say that part of it was longing for me to have a girlfriend at the time. That being said, it was absolutely miserable for me, and I'm just glad I've moved on now. This final story is from me. Yes, the one talking to you right now. I'm not going to bore you with all the unnecessary specific details, but I can give you a brief summary of what went down. So picture this. This happened fairly recently. I met this beautiful woman on a dating app. On paper, the potential looked surprisingly promising, and both of us had seemingly serious intentions. Fun fact, she was my first real girlfriend, albeit LDR, so maybe I was too excited for my own good. The relationship was so interesting, ambitious, and motivating to me that I was 95% sure this woman was going to be my wife. Yes, there were red flags, but it was nothing to get too worked up over. Long story short, let's just say those red flags were actually a big deal after all, and let's just say the relationship ended the moment it started to become more real. For reasons that only God truly knows. We dated for a total of 5 months. Immediately what I felt was disappointment, which later turned into anger, which later turned into sadness, and then once again turned into disappointment. But looking back now, I'm grateful for the experience, and I'm grateful for her, believe it or not. But ever since that happened, I've been learning about the importance of forgiveness and moving on. For those of you who may not know, I'm a believer. Jesus once said to love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, especially since she's not really my enemy. At the end of the day, we're all human and we all make mistakes. Remembering this truth makes it easier to forgive those who we used to call our lovers or friends. And that's the message I want to share today. If you have an ex or someone you used to love, forgive them. If you haven't already, it will set you free in the long run. It's easy to think that these experiences are a waste of time, but they're not a waste of time. Breakups and heartbreaks teach us important lessons. For me personally, my breakup was a humbling experience. It taught me not to put too much trust into human beings. But you know who you can trust? The one who heals the brokenhearted and binds up our wounds. If God can heal my heart, He can heal yours too. But first, you have to accept Him into your heart. That's when you'll begin to experience amazing miracles.